This is Allison Vohar. She was born October 1st, 2005, and is currently 13 years old. Allie was diagnosed with a chromosomal 6q deletion at only 8 months old. This means that the longer arm of her 6th chromosome was missing DNA when she was born. This is her story. So, can you describe your understanding of the chromosomal disorder Allie has?
Well, Allie's chromosome deletion, it's on the number 6 and it's a Q. So she was first diagnosed. We had no idea what it was going to involve, like what kind of issues she was going to have. So we've just been going through it as the years go on, but it's basically causes a lot of developmental delay and gross motor skills and fine motor skills and some health issues.
Chromosomal deletion symptoms and abnormalities vary depending on the location and the length of the missing genetic material. However, common symptoms include developmental delay, intellectual disability, and distinctive facial features. Okay, and did you research this information by yourself, or did the doctors give it to you?
The doctors gave it to us. She was diagnosed when she was 8 months old, and then my husband and I were tested to make sure it wasn't something that we carried in case we were going to have more children.
How was she diagnosed?
Genetic testing.
Did the doctors give you like a prognosis on what would happen?
They immediately set us up with a geneticist so that the geneticist could just kind of go through Allie and go through the motions with us as she was developing. But what happened was when she was 3 months old, they discovered that she had something called choanal atresia, which is when one side of your nose is completely blocked with bone. Then she also had hearing loss, and they put tubes in. And when they saw that when they got in there to do tubes, the ENT doctor actually was the one that thought that maybe there was something going on and wanted to have her genetically tested. When she was 3 months old, they discovered she had hip dysplasia too, or 6 months old, they discovered she had hip dysplasia too. So a lot of different bone issues that were going on that kind of were the red flags that there was something else going on for us.
6q deletion can be passed from parent to child, but for the most part, the cause is unknown. Okay, and you said you and your husband were tested to see if you were carried. Do you have any other family history of this disorder?
There's no one in our family. This was just a very rare fluke thing.
Did the doctors give you any treatment options?
No, it's not like that. It's, in fact, the geneticist was probably the best person we got with. She said, we're going to let Allie tell us how Allie's going to be. And they immediately sent us to all the doctors to check. They call it the midline. It's all of her organs in her midline. So her heart, her lungs, her everything, kidneys. We had everything checked. And there was one little sign of kidney reflux, but nothing was wrong with her heart or lungs or anything like that. So everything else, we've just let Allie tell us what Allie needs, basically.
Okay. How has your daily routine been impacted?
Well, you know, early on it was severely impacted because of a lot of surgeries, but on a day-to-day basis now with her, it's just difficult because she doesn't walk. She has limited amount of talking, few words, but she communicates with us when she's bothered by something. Like right now she has, you're peeling, right? She got a little bit of sun last week, but you know, we have to take care of her. She's always going to be with us. So I guess that's really the thing. She's not going to independently grow up and be able to take care of herself. So she's just always going to be with us.
What surgeries has she had?
She had, so the choanal atresia, she had tear duct surgery, she had the hip dysplasia surgery, which was really bad because she was in something called a spica cast for 3 months. She basically was in a cast from her upper underarms all the way down to her ankle. There was one opening right in the middle where for her diaper. So she lived in a beanbag chair for 3 months straight. And then she's also had, her tethered spinal cord surgery was when she was 4 years old. So that was a real rough one because she had to be knocked out for a week at the hospital with that so she could recover. So, and she's getting ready to have another surgery in September because her hamstring and her Achilles tendon need to get stretched. So they're going to do surgery on those to lengthen those and so we feel lucky she's only going to be in a walking boot for a month, because like with some of our past stuff, we've had, you know, been hit with a lot harder and rougher recoveries. So
Yeah. If you could tell the world anything about this, what would it be?
I would just say, you know, I know when I was younger, the only chromosome issue I ever knew was Down syndrome. So there are so many different chromosome issues out there now, especially once I've researched the internet. And it's weird because I've met people with number 6s, very few of them in the world and in the country. Number 5 chromosomes, number 4. A lot of them will have like their own title for a syndrome. But with Allie, because it's so rare, hers doesn't have a syndrome. So like we've just met a lot of different people, and I would say that overall with her, she basically falls under the umbrella of a child with cerebral palsy, very similar type of issue. But I think she's probably more advanced than some of those kiddos too. So
yeah, you said you've met a lot of people. Have you met these people through like outreach programs?
Well, it was all online, and it was one support group that I found was specifically for the chromosome 6. And that was very early on, and I did meet one of the other moms. She lived in North Carolina, and we met one day when she was in Richmond for something. So we just met for lunch and got to get the kids to introduce themselves and to meet each other. It was just nice to know somebody else was kind of going through the same thing. That was really early on with Allie. I want to say she might have been like 3 years old when we met. So, but it was more of a reach out, just trying to see if anybody else was going through it. And a lot of the people had very similar symptoms. Some of them a little more severe. She never had to have a tube feeding, thank goodness, but it was one of the things I always pushed. A lot of these kiddos can't eat very well, so they don't chew good. So I've just been really forcing her to eat mashing up foods and stuff, because I never wanted her to be on a tube feeding. So.